Hey guys, welcome back to Ben & Brewing's channel. If you haven't been here before, we do product reviews, tutorials, and we have a live chat feature on our website to help you through your Brew 911s. Check it out at benandbrewing.com. Today's video, we got our hands on iGulu's newest kit, actually before they released it, their English Pub Bitter. While this is a very simple style of beer, there are a lot of nuances to it that a lot of people may not be aware of. Let's check it out. So before we get started into today's video, quick reminder, this is sponsored by iGulu. You'll find the 20% off coupon linked in the description down below for 20% off if you wish to purchase the iGulu F1 or S1. Slight teaser and maybe a potential spoiler, there is an iGulu F2 coming. Stay tuned for our video on that coming out shortly. Additionally, many of the items that we use in today's video will be linked down below as well. Those are affiliate links, and if you do choose to purchase through that, it does help our channel and supports us very, very much, and we appreciate it. So iGulu releasing an English bitter kit is actually a pretty good idea. They have released some more extreme kits recently, and so this kind of puts it back in line with more approachable beers if you're not familiar with a lot of these craft beer styles. The English bitter specifically, if you're not familiar with it, is actually not that bitter. The flavor profile tends to be more malty, a little bit sweeter in the finish, and the hops, although they are present, do tend to take a back note to the malt forwardness of the beer. Additionally, the yeast should be adding a nice fruity ester to it. Think like apples or maybe a plum or maybe some darker fruits like that. Because you want that malt character to kind of be the showrunner or to be the lead in the flavors of the beer, you really don't want the beer to ferment out all the way. So you have to select a specific type of yeast that will only attenuate or ferment it out about 70% of the way to ensure that there are some sugars left over and some maltiness that will hold up. And as I mentioned before, the hops should be balanced with the malt, but they should be more of a footnote. They should not really take over the flavor profile. They should make it nice and crisp without overdoing it. This particular kit uses a Hersbrucker hop extract for the aroma hops, which is a German noble hop that has a very, very long and kind of historic history in the brewing community. And finally, once all is said and done, it should have notes of like a bready or a biscuit flavor in the malt finish. All right, let's take a look at the kit. All right, so iGulu's kit for the English bitter is actually pretty straightforward. Let's just run through what comes in the kit itself. You have 1 pound of dried malt extract. Now, this is actually a darker dried malt extract compared to some of the sparkling or the light ones that they've included in some of their other kits. This darker color will actually add more of an amber to the beer itself, which is within the style. They include 2 packs of the hop bittering extract and 2 more packs of the hop extract, the Hersbrucker, for the aroma. It has 1 yeast pack, which I'm assuming is some sort of a British yeast, which tends to have less of that attenuation, as I mentioned before, but I don't know that 100% because there's not a lot of details other than it was sourced from Austria. So we could be dealing with a British-style ale yeast, or it could be something else entirely. If it is a British-style ale yeast, it could be something similar to like a Safale SO4. And finally, the RFID sticker to program your machine. I'm very curious to see how all of this kit comes together to see if it comes up with an appropriate style English pub bitter. Again, the kit seems simple, but things are not always what they seem with this particular style of beer. All right, nothing left, let's brew it up. All right, first things first, let's make sure we're sanitizing anything that's coming in contact with our beer. That includes the inside of your Triton keg, the serving tube, the dip tube, anything again that will come in contact with the beer on the cold side of this fermentation. We use Star San. We've recommended it since day one. It's something we've used for many, many years, even before we started brewing on the iGulu. 30-second contact time will sanitize everything that you need to. We put it in a pump spray bottle to ensure that we're kind of maximizing our usage of it, so we don't have to quite go through as much. We'll have links to that down below if you wish to purchase. Next, you want to fill up your Triton keg with 116 ounces of clean filtered water. Make sure that it is clean filtered. If you're using tap water, you need some way to remove the chlorine that is usually in your tap water. Chlorine is not your friend when it comes to brewing. It will lend off flavors in your finished beer. If you don't have access to a filter, you can certainly go to the store and buy some spring water. Please make sure it's spring and not distilled. Distilled will not do you any favors either. Once your Triton keg is filled up, go ahead and add all of your hop bittering extracts, including the 2 packets of the bittering and the 2 packets of the Hersbrucker aroma. Go ahead and add your 1 pound of the dried malt extract directly on top of your hop water, as I guess is what it is now, and stir it with a sanitized spoon. You don't have to do it to 100% dissolve, just get it to about 80%, should be good enough to get you where you need to be. Next, you're going to pitch your yeast right on top of your wort. Just sprinkle it right on top. Do not stir it in. Let it kind of naturally hydrate and take up the water and slowly wake itself up. If you stir it in, you're going to end up killing half of your yeast just because they're going to be shocked by the sugary wort that you're submersing them in. So just let them naturally rehydrate on top. Next, you're ready to go ahead and seal up your Triton keg. Go ahead and put the lid on top, seal it up with the lid lock. Next, attach your serving tube. Don't forget to close down the clamp on the serving tube itself. You don't want beer spraying everywhere during fermentation or post-fermentation until you're actually ready to put it in a glass. Next, load your Triton keg into your iGulu machine, making sure to attach the pressure monitor to the top of the lid. That's very important. Go ahead and scan the RFID sticker and confirm that it is for the English Pub Bitter. Now, something important to note here, depending on if you're brewing on the F1 or the S1. For our English bitter that we did today, we actually brewed it up on the F1, which does not have as sophisticated of a pressure relief system as the S1. So you're going to notice, it seems like a bit of an oddity, but I'm going to explain what it means. If you scan your RFID sticker on the F1, you're going to notice it's 3 stages. 2 of them look to be identical. 4 days at 68 degrees, and then 4 more days at 68 degrees, and then 4 more days at, I think it's 35 degrees. And you might be saying to yourself, well, that seems odd. Why not just combine that into one step? Well, what you don't see on the F1, but you do on the S1, is there are pressure differences between those stages. If you were to brew this on the S1, each stage would note a different pressure for fermentation. So in this case, for this fermentation profile, the first stage is going to be at 10 psi. The second stage, or the next 4 days, is going to be at 22 psi, and then your final stage, where it crash cools it down to 35, is also at 22 psi. So you can see they're kind of ramping up the pressure throughout the fermentation. Now, I don't know 100% why they're doing it this particular way, but my best guess is they're doing the first 4 days at a lower pressure, so they're not suppressing the yeast esters that are required for this particular style of beer. You want those yeast esters, those fruity flavors, to come through and complement the malt. So by taking your first 4 days when they're waking up and they're starting to multiply, and that's the time that they produce kind of the most esters before they start cleaning up near the end of fermentation, this allows that flavor profile to come through. And then the next 4 days are ramping it up to the 22 psi, and then the final stage at 22. What I don't understand is why at the crash cool at 22, which I get, you're cooling it down to make sure that CO2 is absorbing the liquid, we're capturing as much of it as we can. But on other schedules I've seen, they'll actually have a 4th stage where they'll lessen it to 10 psi at that 35 degrees to get you down to serving pressure so you don't end up with a foaming rocket coming out of your tap. In this case, they didn't do that. I'm not sure if it's an oversight and that'll be corrected in future fermentation profiles, or if that was on purpose. And iGulu, I would appreciate if you could let me know, and so I can let our viewers know what the goal was with this fermentation profile. All right, let's see how it all comes together. All right, so here we are back in our hot weather tasting room. With me, as always, my partner in crime, Christy.
Hello.
Christy, thank you for joining us once again for a tasting of the iGulu kits. So we have our English Pub Bitter, which has that amber color. And actually dropped pretty bright. It's actually pretty clear. It looks a little hazy just because of the condensation on the glass. It's a little humid here right now. So, yeah, I think we should just dive right into it. Cheers.
Yes, cheers. Right off the bat, the aroma is exactly what you would expect from an English bitter.
It is very fruity, I will say. I'm not getting a ton of malt sweetness. I'm getting kind of a burnt caramel. Is that a good descriptor?
That is a great
Caramel?
descriptor. I was trying to figure out what it was, and that's exactly what I'm getting. It's so deceiving because the aroma does not match the taste.
And there's a in the finish, it's a sharpness. That's the Hersbrucker, that's the hops, which dries out the palate, so it's not overly sweet.
There is definitely a, lack of a better word, bitter flavor to it that shouldn't be there, in my opinion.
Maybe the hops are a little overdone, and it kind of unbalanced it. I'm not getting as much fruit flavor in the palate as I am in the aroma. I'm getting actually kind of a banana, much more banana than apple in the aroma, and that's just, again, that's the yeast profile. I don't know what yeast was necessarily used, if it was a English style yeast or something else. Carbonation could definitely be heavier, I think, and that's just a function of time. It basically finished up fermenting yesterday, and so we pulled it today. So I think it could use a little bit of age, might help to soften it out a little bit. It dries in the palate and kind of makes you want to come back for a little bit more. It's honestly probably not my favorite kit that iGulu has ever done. But it is approachable, and if you're new to like an English bitter or a pub style, this is definitely kind of a good foray into that. It's not bad. It's relatively clean, and again, it's not my favorite style that they put out, but overall, it's decent.
iGulu, if you're watching, I think it's a great starting point.
Yes.
I think it's close. It's just there's a burnt
The burnt
flavor.
caramel.
Yeah.
There's a burnt caramel, which I'm not used to having in an English bitter.
Right.
They tend to be a little bit smoother and not quite so sharp. So, and again, this was the kit they sent us was kind of a pre-production kit. So there may be some additional tweaks and changes that have come. Again, if you like English bitters and this is something you want to try, it's an interesting twist on it. I don't think it's bad by any stretch. Again, not our favorite kit that they've put out. And again, we want to be honest and transparent with that and not just be like, oh, this is great. This is great. This is great. No, this is okay. It's not our favorite.
And as always, it's not off-putting to the point where like it's not drinkable. It might be a taste preference. Some people might actually like the beer.
True.
Some people might not. This might be right up someone's alley. So I don't want to say that it's necessarily bad. It's just if you're talking true to style, this would not be true to what.
Well, probably what we're used to. But again,
Yeah.
taste is very subjective. So there's a lot of people that actually might like this.
Yeah.
In some ways, I think, there are a lot of ways that we go against kind of the grain of the norm. When we talk about fermenting with, what's that yeast that we hate? The Voss, Kveik yeast. Oh, no. But a lot of homebrewers love it. We can't stand there's a specific spice in it, and that's just for us. So again, it's subjective. Give the kit a try and let us know in the comments below if this is something that you enjoyed, or maybe you altered the fermentation profile a little bit and was able to get something a little bit more to your liking. So again, overall, it's a decent kit. It's not bad. I like our iGulu tasting glasses though. Those are nice.
We love you, iGulu.
Yeah. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching our newest video on iGulu's kit, the English Pub Bitter, or British Pub Bitter, excuse me. It was definitely interesting to kind of see how those flavors came together and that kind of odd pressure fermentation program. I'd be curious to see if altering that might change some of the flavors in the kit itself. Let us know if you brewed this, if you've had a chance to, if you've done anything to maybe alter the flavors, or if you found it right out of the kit to be exactly what you were expecting. Catch you later, my friends.